The Xbox 360 is one of the best consoles of all time. Heck, some would even say it is the best console of all time. I'll let you decide in the comments, but what were the best games to play on it? Welcome to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to take a long trip throughout gaming history, and we're going to go over the 25 best Xbox 360 games ever released, both multi-platform and exclusive. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. You let me know which Xbox 360 games you played the most. There are pretty much thousands of them. Drop a like, make sure you're subscribed. And at number 25, we start off with a racing game, Forza Motorsport 3. Now, Forza is still going strong to this day, but a lot of people were introduced to the franchise with Motorsport 3. Launched all the way in 2009. Still, one of the best-selling Xbox 360 games of all time. The racing mechanics, they were top-notch. There was an absurd amount of content in the game, and it's arguably one of the best racing games of the generation. Certainly one of the best games released on the Xbox 360. At number 24, the Orange Box, released by Valve in 2007. The Orange Box was an amazing collection of 5 games, some of which were certainly a better experience with a mouse and keyboard, but all were still amazing experiences. It included Team Fortress 2, Portal, and all 3 parts of Half-Life 2. Having these PC classics on the Xbox was pretty cool. In all 5 games, they've honestly aged really good. At number 23, Halo 3 ODST. It's a Halo spinoff. It was slightly criticized for the short length and the hefty price tag, but what you got in return, to me, is one of the most underappreciated Halo experiences ever. You had an emotional story, you had a banger soundtrack, you had a very unique take on the Halo gameplay loop since you weren't actually playing as a Spartan for the first time. Plus, it also came with a separate disc that got you into the base Halo 3 multiplayer experience, which was pretty high tier. We'll talk about that more later. At number 22, Guitar Hero 3, Legends of Rock. Arguably the best Guitar Hero game of all time. Legends of Rock dropped in 2007, absolutely exploded in popularity because of the gameplay, the Rockstar guest appearances, and the soundtrack. Guitar Hero 3 probably introduced a ton of you to hard rock and heavy metal, and the gameplay was probably the smoothest we've ever gotten in the Guitar Hero franchise. At number 21, Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. Once again, I say a lot of arguably. This is arguably the best Lego game of all time. I mean, it's a remake of both previous Lego Star Wars games, plus a bunch of bonus content, additional levels, new characters. This was an addicting experience. I mean, trying to get 100% completion in this was pretty crazy. If you actually managed to get the 1,000 gamer score on this, well, I salute you, because I did not. At number 20, Fallout 3. Certainly a janky experience, especially by today's standards. But Fallout 3 still provides some of the best Bethesda RPG gameplay ever. The atmosphere of this game is insane. Even though it's pushing 20, which is crazy, Fallout 3 is one of the most immersive games I've ever played. And if the Fallout TV show got you into the franchise, make sure you go back and play Fallout 3. Don't let the late 2000s Bethesda jank keep you away from it. I promise you, you want to experience it. At number 19, Rock Band 2. Rock Band was pretty obvious. It was an attempt at stealing Guitar Hero's thunder. We know that. But sometimes the imitators, they can do a good job imitating. In fact, sometimes the imitators do a better job than the thing they were imitating. Rock Band 2 took Guitar Hero's formula, and they ran with it, not only featuring insanely smooth gameplay and lots of content, but also arguably the best soundtrack in any of these Guitar Hero-type games ever. To me, definitely a top 20 360 game. At number 18, Batman Arkham Asylum. If it weren't for Arkham Asylum, the superhero genre may have never gotten such a resurgence in the gaming world. You had an amazing story, awesome melee combat mechanics, a Metroidvania-inspired gameplay loop, had you running around the iconic asylum trying to get everybody back into containment. It's a bit of a small-scale game compared to other games that came after, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't make it bad. It's an awesome game. It's worth a playthrough if you've never experienced it. And yes, we need another Batman Arkham game. At number 17, Fallout New Vegas. New Vegas took what Fallout 3 established, and then they just went crazy. The storytelling was much deeper, the lore was deeper, the world was enhanced, the gameplay was fine-tuned a bit, which led to even more jank, but that's okay. The only reason it's at number 17 instead of the top 10 is because of the technical mishaps, and they were on full display in the console version compared to the PC version, and since there's no mods, there was no way to get around the technical crap. But Fallout New Vegas, it's just a good game. Definitely one of the best of this era. At number 16, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Did you know there's a rumor that Ubisoft is currently working on a Black Flag remake? Frankly, I think as long as they stick to the original's gameplay and don't change anything other than the visuals, we could have an all-time greatest Ubisoft game on our hands, because the original Black Flag is what it is. It's a swashbuckling pirate masterpiece, quite possibly the best pirate game of all time. Name a better one. At number 15, Mass Effect 2. Now, Mass Effect 2 simplified the gameplay of the original a little bit to make it feel more like a traditional third-person shooter. A lot of people didn't really take to that, but it's also the reason why a ton of new players got into the series. Mass Effect 2 is not only a fantastic story and a great sci-fi RPG, but it's also a super fun third-person shooter with some of the most memorable action moments of the Xbox 360 generation, and that is saying something. Speaking of action moments, at number 14 today, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Between the fan-favorite multiplayer, the ridiculous single-player campaign, and the insane amount of Spec Ops content, Modern Warfare 3 is one of the best Call of Duty games of all time, and it was so enhanced by the days of Xbox Live. Hearing a lobby full of cheap Xbox 360 mics going absolutely nuts when somebody dropped a Moab, it's unmatched. It's unrivaled. Those are some of my best memories with Call of Duty, and they come right from this game. At number 13, Red Dead Redemption. It's one of Rockstar's finest pieces of work. Red Dead 2 is much more detailed with its gameplay, yes, and cowboy simulating, but the first Red Dead Redemption was basically just GTA in the Wild West with a phenomenal story to boot. The game world was so immersive, it had immaculate vibes, but the gameplay, it was fun. Story had some insane gut punch moments. It's an all-time classic. If you've never played it, go play it, but get ready because you are going to get emotional. At number 12, my favorite Call of Duty game of all time. Call of Duty Black Ops. Yeah, between the incredible single-player campaign, the super addicting zombies mode, and the flawed but fantastic multiplayer mode, Black Ops 1 deserves to be on this list. I think things like wager matches and zombies made it stand out among other COD titles. It may be over 14 years old, but it still has that very distinct style and its own personality. Let's stick with COD. At number 11, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Now, as much as I love Black Ops, I'm not going to deny how iconic Modern Warfare 2 was, both on its own and on Xbox Live, specifically just the lobbies. Modern Warfare 2 had an explosive campaign, lots of memorable moments, but we were there to play in the insane multiplayer mode. It was unlike anything else on the market. Huge explosions, giant airstrikes, everything about Modern Warfare 2 was massive. I couldn't leave it off the list, and then when you get in those lobbies, you better be ready. Now we arrive at the top 10. Minecraft Xbox 360 Edition. Minecraft has lived on to this very day, and I've said it'll probably be here in 50 years because of how much variety there is in the gameplay and how customizable the experience actually is. And even though the game was much simpler on the 360, there's still so much fun to be had. I'm willing to bet that a lot of you were actually introduced to Minecraft with this version of it. It's one of the best-selling Xbox 360 games of all time. Clocks in at over 22 million copies. At number 9, Batman Arkham City. Now, Arkham Asylum may have been the blueprint. Arkham City is perfection. The map was made bigger, new mechanics were added, the story was actually improved in a lot of ways. Yes, some people prefer the simpler design of Asylum, but I think City is one of the best superhero games of all time, if not the best. I'll let you guys debate that in the comments because I know there's others out there, but man, was it good. At number 8, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Did you know Skyrim sold almost 14 million copies on the 360 alone? That should tell you something about how insanely popular it was during this era of gaming. Skyrim was the game that got a lot of people into Bethesda RPGs, and with Elder Scrolls VI still in development, a lot of people have been going back to Skyrim and remembering just why we loved it so much. The fact that you could choose a direction and start walking and get an amazing adventure is something that very few games have ever been able to replicate. At number 7, Grand Theft Auto 5. Where I think we're at almost 23 million copies sold on the Xbox 360. Absolutely cemented in the minds of everyone who's playing video games in the early 2010s. A game as big and complicated as GTA 5 running on the 360, it was a sight to behold. But the original version of GTA Online was a massive hit on Xbox Live. The fact that GTA 5 is still selling millions of copies a year on other platforms, just got a trailer for a new heist, is absolutely insane. At number 6, Gears of War 2. Gears of War 2 took the foundation of its big brother and expanded upon absolutely everything. Smoother gameplay, more movement options, a massive overhaul to the engine that lets you get much bigger hordes of enemies on screen at once, a super addicting PvP multiplayer mode that was one of the biggest esports of the late 2000s, and the birth of Horde mode, which was one of the most influential co-op shooter experiences in gaming history. I hope Microsoft has some kind of Gears of War trilogy re-release in the works, because I know, me personally and a lot of other people, that would love to play this game again. Now we arrive at the top 5. This was hard. Grand Theft Auto 4. Now I know GTA 5 was the bigger success, but GTA 4 is the better game, at least in my eyes. The story of this game is one of the best in gaming history, and even though the game world is one of the smallest in the franchise, once again, that shouldn't matter. It feels extremely alive with all the memorable locations and the extremely detailed NPC interactions. GTA 4 is one of the best Rockstar games of all time, and that's saying something, because all they do is put out bangers, and I can confidently say it deserves to be called one of the best Xbox 360 games. At number 4, Gears of War 3. They basically took everything from Gears of War 2, they made it bigger, and they made it better. Smoother movement, 4-player co-op instead of 2, more enemies on the screen at once, more iconic weapons, you name it. Gears of War 3 had such an insane amount of content for single-player, multiplayer, and all of it was absolutely top tier. And who remembers the super underrated Beast Mode, where you basically played Horde, but in reverse? It was awesome. Microsoft needs to do a Master Chief Collection style re-release of the Gears trilogy. I know I said it earlier, we're going to say it again every time I get a chance. At number 3, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. This is where Call of Duty peaked for a lot of people, and I'm pretty sure I agree, even though I personally like Black Ops 1 more. Black Ops 2 had so much content for every player. By the time all the DLC was released, it had this giant list of all-time fan-favorite zombie maps. Every new Call of Duty game is compared to Black Ops 2, and there's a reason for that. It's honestly hard to think of objective flaws with this game, and it reportedly sold almost 14 million units just on the Xbox 360 alone. At number 2, Halo Reach. While a lot of longtime Halo players were turned off by Reach's gunplay and movement, everybody agreed that it had an insane amount of content. Truly had something for every player. The story, arguably the best of the entire Halo franchise, featured an incredible soundtrack and a tragically well-written script. The custom match options, Forge tools, expanded upon from Halo 3 to make this truly customizable Halo experience. And that's on top of the PvP multiplayer mode, which was insanely popular despite its changes from the original trilogy. And who could forget Firefight mode, fighting off waves of Covenant fighters. This was a banger of a game. Maybe a hot take to put it so high, but I did. And at number 1 today, the best Xbox 360 game ever, Halo 3. Halo 3 and the Xbox 360 are eternally linked at the hip. When you think of the 360, you think of Halo 3, and vice versa. Halo 3 is the best-selling game of 2007, despite only being released on one system, and it's still seen by many as the peak of that franchise. Between the well-written story, amazing level design, insanely engaging multiplayer mode, and the custom matches having more customization options than ever before, Halo 3 to me was a truly incredible experience, and one that simply has not been matched by anything after the 360 era. Long live Halo 3. You had to be there to understand. Let me know 2 games that were deserving of the top 25 that did not make it. This is not an easy list, everybody. I'm pretty sure there's over 1,000 Xbox 360 games, so it's hard to get it down to 25, but I did my best. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.